saw Aftersun this weekend, the Paul Mescal movie that we've all been waiting for since Normal People. Dave, take it away.
Yeah, Aftersun, kind of a movie that snuck up on me. This is an A24 film, just came out in limited release a few weeks back. Actually debuted back at Cannes and was one of the most critically adored films of Cannes, which is obviously no small feat in any year. And it's finally coming out, and this is the debut from a new filmmaker, Charlotte Wells, who I don't really know too much about, but of course stars Paul Mescal. And gosh, is this his first big film role? It
I
might be. He's
think
been
so.
casting a lot of stuff. This is probably one of, if not the first thing to really come out since Normal People, of course, catapulted him to stardom in early 2020. And man, I just knew it was well liked. I didn't really know much about it going in, and knew it was something to see. And it's, it's a small film, but I think the filmmaking approach and the screenplay kind of surprises you in a good way. Like it's unconventional, and the story is quite simple to wrap your head around. Where it's Paul Mescal plays a young father in his, like Paul's age, like early 30s, and he's taking his 11-year-old daughter Sophie on a vacation to Turkey because I believe they're coming from the UK, and that's like because it's a vacation that Callum, Paul Mescal's character, he can afford it, right? And he's just kind of going with his daughter. He's no longer in a relationship with the mom, although they are cordial. And the movie is framed as Sophie, as an adult, kind of looking back on her memories and some video footage of this time she went on this trip with her dad. And she's kind of like reflecting back on things she knew and didn't know about her dad, and maybe things she could try and find out through the footage, and of course things she couldn't have known or picked up on as only an 11-year-old at the time. And like the way it like frames, I think, memory and uh, recorded footage as like a framing device is pretty interesting. But most of the film is really in that memory time where you're no longer in like grainy footage. It's just we're in picture with Paul Mescal and Sophie as an 11-year-old, played by Frankie Corio, who I thought was really good for a child performer. And yeah, it's just like it's not exactly like coming of age for Sophie per se. It's just like a few days at this kind of like resort area, and some other ancillary characters come in, but you never quite know like what's gonna happen with the characters. And Mescal as Callum, he you can tell that he's a character with like things going on in his life, unsurprising for a young father, but it's not concerned about like telling you the answers to all those questions. That's like not like what the movie is about at all. It's more about like the, I think, search for like meaning through like the lens of Sophie's experience. It's kind of a lot to sit with, but ultimately like a really like humanistic movie, which Barry Jenkins actually is one of the
Mm.
producers on it, which makes some sense given the subject matter. There is an amazing Queen under pressure needle drop towards the end of this film, a long drop, by the way. It really hits. I think it's a really emotional moment. Um, yeah, and I think if you're into those kind of more, I don't want to say moody in a negative way because there's plenty of energy in this movie, but it's a more of an emotional. It's less about plot type story. I think you should definitely check out After Sun. It's definitely unique.
I when you said column, I thought for a second you might have gotten normal people confused with Connell, but yeah, it's nice to have Paul Mescal back, and I'm really excited to catch this one whenever I get the chance to, because I think he's a performer that I just feel like has a lot of potential to be in our lives for a long time. And he's one of those people that has such a distinct face that
Hmm.
it's like you could see him really becoming a movie star, even though he's not like conventionally handsome, I guess you would say. Like he's not Brad Pitt looks, but
He's not
uh,
Daisy Edgar Jones.
no one's as ugly as her, Dave. So, and anyone that's listening that doesn't know, that's a joke. For go watch the Normal People review.